Well, isn't that what you're looking for? The Mariners have just, the final whistle has just gone around about 8 minutes ago, and the Mariners have come away with a 2-0 win at Crawley Town. And I think some fans are going to have to eat some humble pie. I'll go into that in a minute. And I always look, when you lose a game of football, I always look for a response. I always look, when you lose a game, how do you respond? We probably should have won the game by a lot more than we did, but the way the lads responded to the loss on Good Friday is just what you're looking for. I never really in doubt, I felt, really, and we'll get into that right now. If we look at the team that started, here's why I think some fans need to eat some humble pie, especially on this. The actual lineup for the day was basically one change from the team that played Harrogate, and it was Jackson Smith in goal, a back four of Harvey Rogers, Maldini Kasori, Cam McJanet, Henry Staunton, Geza Toure, obviously that lying defensive midfielder, Dara Burns on the left, Kieran Green in the middle, Jace Cabia on the right, and the inclusion and start of Mr. Clark Oduro, and Andy Cook led the line up top. And I just want to say this before we go into any sort of how the game was. Clark was getting a lot of criticism, from some fans online. I could see it, because I checked the comments as the team news was coming out, and people were saying, well, that's us finished because Clark Odoro's in the team. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I think Clark Odoro was one of the best players on the pitch for Town, really. He was steady, he was assured, he did some real dangerous work down the ring, down the wing, get it right. He was assured with his passing. He played the simple ball when he had to. And like I said, I think, to be honest, I think he was one of. I'd give him man of the match, to be completely honest. I think, I know he was only on for 66 minutes, but it was a fruitful 66 minutes where he did a lot of the sort of heavy lifting in the midfield. Greeny being what Greeny was. Burns, the only I saw a lot of criticism for Burns as well on online, and I'm thinking to myself, you can see what Dara does. People saying, what does Dara Burns bring? Width. That's what he gives you, and he can deliver a good ball at times. But credit has to go to Jace Cabia, and we're going to get on to the first goal, of course, which we got the ball broke in the middle, in the midfield. It sort of came off Greeny, found its way to Andy Cook. Andy Cook in the middle of the park played a beautiful ball out to the right to Jays, and Jays had done this early on. Within the first minute, Cook played a similar ball to Jays in the first minute or so, and he just pulled that wide. But this one, very similar, Green to Cook, Cook to Cabia, and from a very similar angle, really, placed the ball beautifully into the bottom corner, past Chapman. was a beauty for, I believe it's 17th goal of the season. That's his 13th in the league this season. Jays is having a wonder of a season, really. And, you know, Crawley looked solid. Staunton looked a little bit off today. He didn't quite look himself. Again, some of his delivery wasn't quite on point. But he did make some decent deliveries, better deliveries than what was done on Good Friday. And the man has started to up the ante a bit after that goal. So much so, again, good play round the box by Green, Adore and Tory. And it fell for Andy Cook. And I still, to this minute, do not understand. I can't see how Andy's missed it. It came to him beautifully, absolutely beautifully, and he just pulled it wide of the far post. It was how has he missed that? But it was a glorious chance for Cookie to get down the second goal. Just not to be, but again, that's what I like about the striker, though, is as long as you're getting in the right area, you know, and yes, Andy hasn't scored his fifth, but he's never far off. And he was disappointed. You could tell when it didn't go in. You could tell that he was annoyed. But he kept on going. He had a couple of other chances as well, Andy Cook, during the game. But we weren't made to rue that, because around about 5 minutes after that, 5 minutes after Cook's chance, just after the half hour, 36 minutes, again, another decent move made by Town. It was Staunton, it was Burns, and you know, got the ball across. Burns got the ball across, but it wasn't. It was KBA. So KBA got the ball across, and it was just a bit too long. Crawley got their head onto it, got it away. It fell for Harvey Rogers, sort of right near the edge of the box, and smashed it in from there. It looked like initially, I thought that one of their defenders, I think it was Richards, had got heard it. I thought, is it going to go in as a deflection? But great strike by Harvey again. Again showing what effectiveness he is at right back, and you know how dangerous he is. Another great goal for Harvey to make it 2-0. I think that might have made Andy feel a bit better after the guilty chance that he missed, and going in at half time 2-0 up. Jackson Smith not really with a great deal to do in that first half. In fact, I almost felt like giving him a steak dinner, because he didn't have very much at all to do in that. But there was a bit of a shaky point early on. If we go back a little bit, I think McJanet ended up playing a bit of a, again, trying to play out from the back, and Smith and Crawley and McJanet, they seemed to get a bit muddled up, and at the end of the day that was saved. But apart from that, really, Jackson didn't have a great deal to do. In the second half, it went from bad to worse for Crawley, really, because within a minute of the restart, Ronnie Williams, I believe it was, with their captain, stupid from his case. Obviously, Bobby Madley was the referee, and Clark Adore had sort of got the ball, sort of challenged it. Clark had won a free kick near the corner flag, and for some reason, must have been out of absolute sheer frustration, Williams kicked the ball directly. I think it might have come off his shoulder, but it was aiming for his face. The free kick had obviously been given, and then and you saw it back on replay, and he kicked it directly at Clark, and you're thinking, stupid move, especially for a team that's basically fighting for their lives. A red card all day, that would be more for violent conduct, really. Nothing to do with the foul. The foul was just a standard, standard free kick, but stupid decision from Crawley's end. And you're thinking, many times when Town have gone and been up 11-10, you're thinking, right, let's go and just, let's go and finish the job. Again, Cook had another glorious chance. Again, the criticism of Andy Cook, I don't think is justified. Because like I said, if he'd scored that goal in the first half, he'd have had a goal and an assist. Had chances. How he didn't score another one is beyond me. But again, it shows what mayhem that Andy can cause. Jay's again doing his thing. I've always said this. You can see that Jay's is not a natural winger, but today he really came into his own. He really came into his own in the winger role. He tried to put a few good balls in. One of them, sort of, I'm going to imagine it was the momentum that he built up, but it totally missed everybody and somehow went out for a throw-in at the other end. But Town never really looked in danger. Crawley had some dangerous spells without really, without really creating anything clear cut. If anything, when Crawley were getting the opportunities, it was more the little bit of miscommunication between the boys, and but they never really had what you would say clear cut chances. If we briefly look at the stats for this before I give you the final thoughts, we had 16 shots, 5 on target, 53% of the ball. But like I said, after Good Friday, that in the end can mean absolutely nothing if you're not taking the chances. Total touches in Crawley's box is 30, 14 for Crawley, 3 saves for the goalkeeper. Jackson Smith didn't have a save to make. That just shows you that. But they did come close. They were putting some dangerous balls in. Definitely, you could see that. But nothing clear cut fell for Crawley. And to basically show that 328 passes altogether, 294. But we just, what it was about, disappointing that we didn't score more goals than the 2. What I will say is that the 2 goals back that we lost, obviously on Good Friday. But I think what was so good about that is the fact that it was the response. We kept trying and pushing for more goals. It wasn't to be in the end. The subs that were made, obviously, Jamie Walker came on just after the nearly 70 minutes. He came on for Kieran Green. Clark Adore was replaced by Jaden Sweeney. I think that was to show up just defensively, just making sure. Justin Malazor came on for Andy Cook on 81 minutes, and Svan Thorson came on for a few minutes near the end. There was 7 minutes injury time, but nothing really of note, apart from The last real chance that Town had, it fell for Darragh Burns and hit the post. Very unlucky not to make it 3. We probably should have had 3 or 4 today, definitely with Darragh's chance and Andy's chance in the first half, Cookie's chance in the first half. But on the whole, the performance was right what you want it to be. We had to respond. Other results are what they are. We're 3 points outside the playoffs. Chesterfield are on 68 points at the minute. The Mariners are on 65. I believe it's staying in our hands because we still have Chesterfield and Crewe to play, which is next week for Crewe. Crewe and Chesterfield are back to back, in fact. So it is going to be a massive week for the Mariners coming up, starting on Saturday. But back to today, it's the kind of response you want from the team after Good Friday. One where we never really looked in massive trouble. Obviously, them losing the man did change the game a little bit. The only real disappointing thing is that we didn't probably score a few more. But again, it's still only 3 points. So, and the main thing is the 3 points. And the performance was a lot more Grimsby, you know what I mean? And it's a pleasing end to Easter, which is what we were looking for going into this game. So, if you were at Crawley, there was there was a good amount of Mariners fans there. I could most definitely tell that. But if you did go to Crawley, how did it feel in the stands? How did it feel seeing the Mariners bounce back after disappointments? And that is what we've been good at this year. Another clean sheet for Smithy. So let me know what you thought down below. Is the playoff charge back on? Yes, you'd have to say it is. Obviously, with the big week coming up between Crewe and Chesterfield, then we'll know roughly where we are. And so if we can win those 3, you never ever know. But win those 2, then you never know. But let me know what you thought down below of the game. Are you happy with that? Are you pleased that we've at least done our job, which is what you have to do at the end of the day? Leave me your thoughts down below. Let me know what you thought. Obviously, we'll look out for David Artell's post-match. That'll come out fairly soon, I would imagine within the next hour of recording this. But I wanted to get on here and do an instant reaction after watching the game. I watched it on Sky Sports Plus. But guys who went to Crawley, let me know what you think, and has that lifted the gloom a little bit after the loss on Good Friday. But one more thing on Clark Adore. Like I said, Clark came in. People were wondering why would you start Clark Adore, and again, I'm on for defending players, not unless it's indefensible. That decision was proven right, and sometimes it shows you, like I said, why David Artell is manager and why we're not manager. Because a lot of fans reactionary were going when the team was announced. Clark Adore, Clark Adore is going to be the reason why we mess up. It wasn't. It was a solid performance by Clark in his only his second start for the club, learning from Bradford. But let me know down below what you guys think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back towards the end of the week with a preview of the massive Crew game coming up on Saturday, and that review will be out. That may not come out till Monday. No. I'm going to try and get that out on the Sunday, but it will not be straight after the game. So I will try and get the Crew review out on Sunday if I can. I have an engagement that I have to attend on Saturday night. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I look forward to hearing the comments and seeing your comments and replying to your comments. But I think that makes everyone feel a little bit better, a bit more relaxed, and now hopefully we can move on to 2 massive games in the week. But I will see you for the Crew preview. Until then, unless anything other major news comes out of Grimsby Town, I will see you then. Like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, guys, up the Mariners, and playoff push hopefully is back on. I'll see you soon. Ta-ra for now.